All right, Recon Athlete, episode 119. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez. I think Zach Luceto's on his way. He's on the watch party. What's up, Zach? Shout out to Snoop Daniel. I know he's probably at the studio getting some work done over there. Big night last night in Central Texas high school football. We'll get to that a little bit later. Talk some Antonio Brown. He's making the headlines again for joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also NFL lines. And, of course, Longhorns and Baylor. Paul, how you liking this weather right now?
Man, you know me, big bodies. We love when it gets a little chilly.
I knew
in
it.
The 50s. You know, it's funny. Yesterday, I think afternoon, it was probably at my house, I think it was like in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
And then kind of once the sun was going down, you know, that temperature dropped real quick with the wind as well, especially. So, I mean, I digged it. I'm kind of one of those people who needs like white noise to sleep. And so I always have a fan, pretty much like a floor industrial fan. And just because my mind wanders when I'm trying to relax and go to bed. But yeah, no AC, had the fan on low. So I was vibing last night, man. Got some good sleep. Actually went to bed relatively early compared to regular Friday nights. So I've been up since 6:30.
What time do you usually go to bed on a Friday night?
2 or 3 a.m.
Dang, really?
Yeah, just because I'm trying to update all scores. I'm trying to update any kind of information that's kind of going on. You know, every Friday night after the scores are kind of all gone final and once some other information's kind of been put out there, you know, we upload all the scores to our website. We upload them also to the social media platforms so you can find the finals there if you're curious. But yeah, you know, whatever other media kind of comes out, there'll be like a huge breakout. Like last night, Joseph Suarez, the sophomore kicker for Lockhart, kicked a 40-yard field goal into like 20-mile-an-hour wind and made it with like 10 yards to spare. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that, you know, some things that are going to help us with the recruiting process and getting more kind of clips out there. That's usually what I'm doing until about 2 or 3 a.m. But last night I was like, let's get to bed early. I've been in kind of a groove, waking up about 6:30 usually, which is not early for a lot of people, but for me,
that's pretty early.
Yeah.
When I go on my runs, I'll get up about 6 or 6:30, and that's just to. I mean, you noticed it when you were here, or when you came in. You said there's a lot of people out running this morning.
There's a lot, Chris.
So my neighborhood, like people go out. So like when I go running, and you know everybody with the COVID going on right now, you know I try to stay away from, you know, like and be courteous of other people when you're out and about.
For sure.
So I'll go early just so I won't have to run into a whole lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked
6:30.
Some of these folks were. They were kind of running in little pods, so I'm pretty sure they're probably like maybe familiar with each other, or maybe they have like a little running club they go with. So it was cool to see older folks. So I think probably with the cooler weather, maybe they're trying to maybe increase a little herd immunity, kind of get whatever's in the air to help them get through maybe fall and winter. Yeah. We got this, and it's supposed to be nice this afternoon here in Austin, Texas. You know, we're supposed to get up to maybe 70 or 80 degrees. I love that. Yeah, yesterday morning I went out. I got a shout out to Nate. Nate Beals took me out on his fishing boat yesterday morning. Saw that. I'm not a fisherman, but I think I'm going to be. Okay. I think that's up your alley. Yeah. I mean, you know, golf and fishing, you know. Patience. I got a shout out to Paul Partita because he's been trying to get me out there to go fishing as well. But Nate took me out to Lake Austin. It was really nice. You know, and then they were biting. I didn't get anything. Nate caught one. Then he also had a personal, like he thought it was going to be a personal best, and I saw it come up, and like when he was reeling it in, it was a pretty big guy, and but it was so big that it broke his line and took his lure. And oh really? Yeah. I wonder what kind of tackle he was working with. That must have been a big fish if it popped his line. Yeah, it was. Yeah. He was doing like some topwater stuff, like you know he was doing. It was fun, man. Look at you, top water. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Okay. I don't know. I digress. I don't know. Yeah, I just, you know, I'm gonna try to get. I knew I wasn't. Well, I mean, I was trying to catch fish, but I was just like trying to work on like casting. You know, like that. There's a certain like technique. Flick at the wrist. Yeah, there's a certain technique that you got to do. So I was basically that's what I was doing. I was just trying to practice that part. Yeah. Hey, Reed Coleman, look at this guy. Yeah, look at this guy. Yeah. Texas Point Outdoors, baby. Let's see. Yeah, I got a shout out to Texas Point Outdoors and of course Kreitz Market. All right, I think Zach is on his way. He said he said his eyes are still crusty. Gross, dude. Just get in here. Shout out to Steven Anguiano on our watch party.
He said the big uglies love this weather. Hashtag trench gang.
You better believe it.
And he said love fishing and relaxing. Yeah, that's what I liked about it. It was nice. It was nice to get out there on the water.
Tranquil.
So, yeah. And plus this time of year, Nate was telling me, he said this time of the year, there's not a lot of people out there, on Lake Austin, like wakeboarding and all that other stuff. So it was nice to be out there. And, there was this one guy that we were in this little cove, and this one guy was actually swimming,
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He had a little floaty, I guess. So people could see him.
Yeah, a little buoy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't trust lake water, man. I don't know about that. Like swimming in that water, dude.
It's not a lake, though.
Well, I mean, it's river water. Yeah, but still, it's
as long as it's moving, baby,
it's good. Dammed up, but it's dammed up.
It's flowing.
I guess, man.
What do you worry about out there? Stuff you can't see?
Nah, just it's gross.
I mean,
I don't know.
Where do you think your water comes from, Chris?
I mean, I don't know. It's filtered, bro.
Okay.
It's treated.
Okay.
I don't know. I was even weary of getting in the river back in the day when I'd go floating.
Okay.
When Partita lived down in New Braunfels.
Nice. That's good floating over there.
Yeah, that was fun.
St. Marcus boys, we know a little bit about floating.
I know. We'll try to wait till Zach gets here to talk Longhorns, but let's go ahead and start with Antonio Brown to Tampa Bay. I know Bruce Arians back in, I think it was February, March, said that he didn't want Antonio Brown. Said he was a bad fit for the Buccaneers. Said, I know they worked together in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady been wanting Antonio Brown since the summertime, since the offseason.
You got a little taste last year.
And what has changed? Is it mainly injuries?
No, I think it's just Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think it's just Tom. I mean, when Arians said that quote, I mean, he didn't have Tom. He had Jameis Winston, and he understood because of probably the youth of the locker room and probably the youth at quarterback and probably not a lot of strong leaders on defense, he probably couldn't have a personality like AB in the locker room just due to what we've seen in all the past 4 stops that AB's had. And so I think personally, AB, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think he's kind of had a little humility. I think I've seen time with him, with Deion Sanders at his Deion's private residence, probably giving him a little guidance, probably doing a little consulting, and maybe showing him a little humility is probably the right thing for him in his life right now. And so I think that probably was one of the things that was going to need to be checked off before he joined Tampa. And I'm sure Tom's strong leadership and high demands for his receivers is something that AB definitely can meet on the field. And I'm pretty sure the expectation is going to translate to off the field. So if somebody like Tom Brady, the GOAT, 6 rings, established himself as possibly the greatest of all time, unless we talk to somebody from the 80s who watched Joe Montana.
Yeah.
He can handle that kind of personality. And you got to remember, Tom's 43, going on 44. So Tom's more of almost like a father figure, if you really think about it, for AB. I know AB's probably in his early 30s, but, uncle kind of relationship, big brother kind of relationship, I think totally is a good fit. Is this maybe going to damper maybe Godwin or Evans' touches? Yeah, it could, because with Gronk coming on strong, there's going to be a pitch count for each of the – not a pitch count, but there's going to be a decrease in targets for each of those receivers. So somebody's going to get left out in the cold, but I think Tom knew with KC getting Lev Bell, he needed to bring in a guy who was going to be able to keep up as far as weapons. And I think we're getting set up for maybe a Super Bowl matchup between those two squads, adding these high-end free agents and personnel.
Yeah? You like those two?
I picked Tom before. I picked Tampa before the season started. And when KC, I think when they had that loss to the Raiders, I think that really showed their deficiency in not having a clutch running back who could catch out of the backfield. Because we don't know how long Mahomes is going to be able to make these crazy throws. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but I think Tampa really knew they had to keep up weapon-wise, because just like last week when we saw Green Bay and Tampa Bay, you're going to need to outscore people, and unless you have the weapons to do it, it's not going to get done with, I think, the personnel they have, and especially the injury history right now that we're seeing with Evans and Godwin, because they seem to not be healthy enough to play week in and week out right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure Kansas City is still the favorite, but we'll talk a little bit about Steelers and Titans, but I'm sure they've got something to talk about or something to say about that AFC Championship as well.
And they play this week.
Yeah. So we'll get in those lines a little bit later in the show. But I think personally, Antonio Brown going to Tampa Bay, good for Antonio Brown, good for the Buccaneers as long as Antonio can come in, do his job, and stay out of the headlines. Like make the good kind of headlines, the ones that happen when you're on the field. With the touchdowns and the catches, and not so much where you're getting a 8-game suspension. So he's got the 8-game suspension is going to be up week 8, so he'll be able to join week 9. And I think that all of a sudden Tampa Bay could be a favorite. I know Seattle's everybody's like up on Seattle, but their defense isn't what they used to be.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about the headlines, and you're talking about right now it's a push for Russell Wilson, and I think you're totally right. I mean, we don't need AB throwing a bag full of colorful, eccentric items at people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, dude, this is something I've jumped on this year. I just kind of had this little moniker, and I've kind of thrown it around. A couple of people like Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, they got predator blood, man. They're just different humans. And right now, I know that I really believe that Russell wanted a deep threat, over the top kind of player in AB, but I guess they just didn't do the right recruiting. And AB believes a little bit more in Tom than Russell Wilson. If I'm going to look at it, just as facts on facts.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go with this crew, which Tampa probably has a little bit better defense than Seattle right now.
Yeah.
In the NFC, but gosh, if the game's on the line and it's in Russell's hands and here's a minute and a half left and they need 3, they're probably going to get 3 or 7 or 6.
Yeah. Shout out to Kalunga and BJ. Kalunga says he's the same old AB. He's going to cause some issues either way.
I disagree.
Let's see. Kalunga also says Steelers going to hold Derrick Henry under 100 yards this week. Well,
and I'll take a bet on that. We'll talk offline. I already owe you, I know. But let's put it this way. David Johnson and Derrick Henry are different humans.
Yeah.
I understand how good Pittsburgh D is.
And let's see. And shout out to BJ who said he's standing by Seattle for his Super Bowl pick. Let's see. Whatever, Zach. I'll get over there. He says he still considers me a big ugly. I'm
Why do
pretty.
you don't entertain
I'm
that?
pretty, dude.
Don't entertain that. You don't need that negativity
pretty.
in your life.
I'm pretty, bro. He's just mad.
Don't worry about him.
Because I'm 40 and better looking than him.
I want to see him come in with that Roger stash.
I know. He better still have the mustache. If he doesn't have the mustache, I'm gonna be a little upset with him.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So since we're talking NFL, let's go ahead and we're still waiting on Zach because I want to get Zach's take on the horns. Let's get into these lines. I know.
Probably that's why he's waiting.
He's waiting for us to talk about it.
The horns, so I don't have to talk about it. He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Zach, get in here.
He does want to. He probably just doesn't want to give a thorough analysis because he knows how they probably really are.
Yeah, I know. All right, Cleveland, Cincinnati tomorrow. These are the noon o'clock game, as I like to say. Looks like 4.5. A lot of the most
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Man, I'm showing 3 for Cleveland.
Yeah. No, I meant Cleveland minus 4.5 for Cleveland. So you're showing 3?
I'm showing 3. Where? What website are you on?
Let's see.
Is it today's?
It says open. Okay.
What says open?
First betting line received from one of our Las Vegas or global sports books. So let's see.
That may have opened at 4.5, and it's probably moved today to 3.
Okay. I'm trying to. So there's this website I'm on, VegasInsider.com, and it gives like a whole. It shows like William Hill, Circus Sports, BetMGM.
Yeah, those are all the different sports books.
Yeah, DraftKings. DraftKings has a sports book.
Yeah, bro.
They do.
DraftKings, FanDuel. Yeah. If y'all like to sponsor our show, just go ahead and reach out to Paul Ritton. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they had a sports book.
Yeah, dude. When the Feds kind of left it regulated to the states, I mean, everybody got in the game.
Okay. All right. So you're showing 3. Let's see. Dallas, Washington, pick 'em, right?
No, man.
What do you showing?
When you say pick 'em, what do you mean?
Like 50-50? Oh,
No,
damn, what the hell?
I'm showing Dallas as a -1 favorite.
I got to find a different one. This is kind of hard to read.
Yeah, that's why I just go to ESPN because it's easier.
Yeah. This is too much saying. This is like a website for like Vegas.
Yeah, those are professional sharks that probably are using
those degenerates.
Kind of websites. But anyways, I mean, you can say degenerate, but some people make that a profession. But with Dallas being -1 favorite, I think that's really showing that they're kind of giving a little bit more credit to Washington being at home, thinking maybe these teams are pretty even, but being at home, they're going to give the slight edge, I think, to Washington. Compound that with the hodgepodge kind of thrown together, offensive line that is going to try to protect Andy Dalton against, their first round picks.
Yeah, and I was basically going, and I put it on because we're going to talk about my fantasy team real quick because it's always about my fantasy team. Oh my goodness. And I'm playing BJ in this other league, in our Wastewood league.
You're playing me.
And I'm playing you on. That's right. I forgot about that in the Recon League. So I've got Lamar Jackson. Of course, the Ravens are on bye. So I was basically picking between Andy Dalton, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Sam Darnold. I've settled on Jimmy Grapes.
Yeah, we had this conversation.
We're still okay with that.
I think so.
I know. I'm still on the fence.
Well, you should be nervous. It's a bye week for your starting quarterback, so it's. I think it's normal to be a little anxious.
Yeah, I think Andy might come back and have a good game against Washington.
I just
you don't think so? You don't think he'll come back and have a good game against Washington?
He didn't show any kinds of signs of life in that game. Even though Zeke did cough up the ball twice, he just has no protection. Mm-hmm. And if they can't get the running game going, I mean, they probably will this week. But if Andy can't get the ball on the mark and his receivers are dropping balls, I don't think he's going to be successful.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll stick with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sure BJ's pretty happy to hear me say that. Green Bay Packers, Houston Texans. Looks like Green Bay -3.5.
Yep.
Let's see. FanDuel has them at -3 right now. Detroit Lions. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about that one's with
Zach. For Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, where you at, man?
And I'm kind of surprised it's only 3.5. But Green Bay had bad game last week.
Well, Aaron Jones is hurt coming out. They said the reports coming out that Aaron Jones had a slight kind of lower leg injury. Had to miss, I think, yesterday's practice. And so with that probably being said, Devontae Adams has been a little bit nicked up. And, of course, Green Bay didn't draft any receivers to help out Aaron Rodgers. So with that being said, Williams, the backup running back Williams, I think is a very capable back, but he's not the same kind of running back that Aaron Jones is.
Yeah, that's true. But and then Deshaun Watson's still out there. Brandon Cooks.
I picked him up in fantasy, and he's done very well for me.
He's all of a sudden, finding a little groove there with Deshaun. So the Houston Texans, got a shot, I guess, against the Green Bay Packers, according to Vegas. Lions and Falcons. Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite over the Detroit Lions.
Hey, man, just throw the ball to Julio and you'll win. It's not really that hard, and I don't know really what Quinn was doing, the former head coach who was removed from his duties a couple weeks ago. So, that last week they just Ryan to Julio, and apparently it works for some reason.
But Julio, he'd been injured. He had the hamstring, so.
I don't know, man. A 70% Julio is still better than a lot of these guys out there. So.
Right, but I think it had something to do with the coaches. I think the coaching change definitely helped the team.
Definitely.
So, excuse me. But yeah, the Falcons all of a sudden being a favorite against the Lions, it says a whole lot about what's going on with that coaching staff, or what was going on with that coaching staff. Buffalo Bills, New York Jets. Bills, double-digit favorite. 10.5.
I think they cover that easy. I don't think their defense for the Jets is really going to play as well as KC or the way the Jets. Way the Buffalo played against those other teams really just wasn't up to par. I think Tennessee really forced Josh Allen to kind of really put dink and dunk. He really wasn't successful throwing the ball deep when they played them a couple of weeks ago, and KC did the same thing and then just got outgunned. And with Sam Darnold and Gase, I just don't know. Or Gase, rather, Adam Gase, I don't really think they're going to be successful.
So, but maybe Sam Darnold could get some trash points. Because I'm just thinking about my fantasy.
Maybe Sam Darnold could get traded to Dallas, and we can just forget about all this.
Sam Darnold or Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'd rather have Darnold.
Really? over Fitzmagic?
Yeah, dude, we talked about this Wednesday.
Yeah. Denim Dan has joined us. What's up, bro?
Canadian what is that? Canadian jumpsuit? Canadian suit?
Yeah. What's going on, Doug? What happened to the stash, bro?
I had to get rid of it.
Bro, did Lindsay get it? Lindsay didn't like it?
It's not kid friendly, so I had to shave it for the football game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I shaved. That's when I shaved it was Friday, like during the day before the game.
Why?
That's like I said, man.
No, what do you mean not kid friendly?
I gotta blend in.
You don't want to look
Although we're about to
you don't want to look too old.
Vandergrift's about to get like a bunch of new equipment for me on the sideline, like so when the Horn like offered me to be so basically they wanted me to be like the remote tech to set up the broadcast,
right? But
they knew I didn't want to do that, so they offered me to do the sideline reporting for Vandergrift. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that.
Was that this year
This was the first year I did it.
First year you did it, okay.
And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And they had this like little sideline kit set up, which was like a little wireless mic and a little wireless like a headset.
Mm-hmm.
But game one, I found out that I read the box for the wireless mic and it said 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The range was 30 feet. And
that's it?
Yeah. So game one, we couldn't do anything. None of it worked. The range wasn't big enough for none of it.
Who bought it?
The Horn. So what they used it for was UT softball.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't do anything. So what we've been doing for the past 3 years is I record the interview with Coach at halftime and post game on my phone, and I email it back to the station. They just play it off of Audition, the station. So they're getting all this new stuff, so that I'm gonna like do more legit like sideline stuff. So like in and out during the game and stuff like that. So I think once I get that, I might have to come up with like a nice little get up to wear on the sideline, like a little more professional.
More professional.
Yeah.
Like a suit maybe.
No, I think I'm gonna get like a nice
you should do
button-up shirt.
You should do like Craig Sager back in the day, or like he did, the crazy suits.
Well, that's what I think I'm gonna get like I think so. Like I said, I think I'm gonna get like a nice dress shirt, but I think I'm gonna get like different color like pants, like dress pants, and wear that with some like colored loafers. That's what I'm gonna do, and no mustache.
You should do the stash
because they got to be able to find me from the press box. You know, they don't know where I'm at.
You should do the stash, bro. Bring it back. Everybody, let's get on Watch Party and let us know if Zach should bring back the stash. All right, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints. Saints are a 7-point favorite. Why are you shaking your head there, Paul?
I'm just looking through these other scores, or these other lines, rather.
Let's see, Saints only 7 points. I believe their top two receivers are going to be out, Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. So
is Michael Thomas still out for fighting or out for injury, or what is it?
I believe it's injury. Maybe injury this time. Steelers Titans. Titans 1.5 point favorite at home. Thoughts on this game? You don't think the over-under was for Derrick Henry's rushing yards was set at 100 by
that's not official
by Kalunga.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, by Kalunga.
Yeah,
and not official, but Kalunga's line. You're gonna get a hold of Kalunga after the show and.
Yeah, for Derrick Henry, 100 yards on that defense at home for Tennessee, I think that is really going to be I don't think that's going to be much of a difficult thing for him to accomplish personally.
You think that's just a Steelers fan?
Yeah, I think that's something that's kind of like a baseline. It's just for especially his type of defense, because I don't think they've allowed anybody over 100 yards the whole season, especially with the running attack out of Cleveland. For him, I think that's kind of a threshold. I think it's a kind of like a badge of honor that the Steelers defense is kind of wearing right now. But, I mean, they have every right to be as hype as they are because of T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. I mean, those defensive ends / linebackers, outside linebackers, are extremely difficult to deal with. So, Tannehill, I think, is going to have a lot of pressure on him because they're going to try to shut down that running game. But if Henry gets loose, I think that's going to be a tough day for the Steelers. But I still think the Steelers win. I would take the Steelers plus 1.5 personally.
All right. Zach,
what?
Any Any take on the Steelers Titans?
I think it's like a pretty defining game for both of them, though. I mean, this is arguably one of the bigger matchups for both of those teams, and I think both of those teams have like their fans have very like high hopes for them. So, I mean, I understand the line. I understand like each fan base's like confidence heading into this game, and I think it'll be exciting to see who wins.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Las Vegas Raiders, Tampa Bay 4-point favorites. There's one sports book that give them, or a couple of sports books that are giving them 4.5. FanDuel and BetMGM.
Yeah, 4.5 for Tampa. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't think they're going to be able to cover that. I think this is going to be a really tight game. I think the way the Raiders played KC, I think we're going to have a real whoever has the ball last kind of issue or ordeal is going to be who kind of wins that game. Personally.
All right, Chiefs and Broncos. Chiefs 7.5-point favorites. Looks like
you got 7. I'm showing 8.
Yeah, MGM is at 8 right now.
Yeah.
So 7.5, but yeah, MGM has moved to 8. So I guess Chiefs.
I think that's an easy cover for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that Drew Lock and company are going to be able to kind of keep up with that offense. Personally.
Jaguars, Chargers. Chargers 7.5-point favorites.
Wow.
And it looks like what do you say? Wow.
No, I mean,
is that an easy cover?
I think the way Herbert's been playing this week. I mean this year. I just don't know. I mean, he was literally going blow for blow with Tom Brady and kind of taking the lead. Tom was having to catch up with him most of the time. And so I don't know if Zach and Minshew Mady are going to be able to keep up with those stashes. So, I mean, if maybe the stash comes back, maybe we can get there and keep up with Herbert or Air Bayer, like you say.
Yeah, Herbert. We'll go back one game because we got a couple of opinions on this. Steven says Titans. Emo and Kalunga both have Raiders against over the Chiefs.
I mean, are they taking the points or they're just talking about money lines?
Kalunga's saying Raiders win by 10.
Did he say anything else?
No,
Raiders by 10. I mean, that's a good opinion. I just don't think that. I don't know if Ruggs is going to be able to keep up with.
A lot.
I don't think he's going to be able to do what he can do because I think Matthew is going to get a hold of him and kind of check the rookie to kind of welcome him into the NFL personally.
All right, Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks 3.5-point favorites. Let's see. There's one sports book giving the Cardinals 3. That's it. So Seahawks minus 3.5. It's going to be Sunday night. You taking Seattle on that cover?
I don't know, man.
Kyler Murray?
Because it's 3.5. That's kind of the only reason why I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I would take 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if I quite take 3.5 because D-Hop didn't even get involved against that game against Dallas. And so I think if he gets involved and Kirk gets involved and Kyler Murray can get loose a little bit, it's going to be a tough game. I think we're going to kind of see a lot of similarity in the offenses between both those squads.
Yeah. Do you have an over under on that one?
Yeah. Just give me about 30 seconds.
I mentioned it because, I mean, we all know Seattle's defense isn't Legion of Boom status worthy anymore.
Not even close.
So they've been giving up the most points to quarterbacks and receivers fantasy-wise. So but I expect a big game from Murray.
56.5.
Okay.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. And then, of course, Monday night, Bears and Rams. Rams at home, 6-point favorites.
It's kind of a stinker of a game,
isn't it?
Really? I think that's a good game with Nick Foles and the Bears and Mac and got out in West Coast in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's just like
I think y'all have gotten real comfortable with having football around just these few months that y'all aren't appreciating. We almost didn't have it.
I know.
I have a hard time appreciating Nick Foles versus Jared Goff in 2020. Not even Super Bowl year.
I mean, I guess there's nothing exciting about those two quarterbacks,
Do y'all watch them enough to kind of appreciate it, or maybe it's just
Jared Goff is boring.
Well, I'm just saying
Jared Goff is boring. Okay.
Just saying they're game managery. So
Oh man. Okay. I don't really agree with that with Nick Foles personally.
Uh-huh.
Just because he got injured in Jacksonville before that, he won a Super Bowl and he was the MVP, and then he had to go to to Chicago and wait for Trubisky just to self implode, and then he took over and has turned in 5-1 for the Bears. And I agree. I mean, granted, he did lose that game last week, but I just think this is a really good game for Monday Night Football, personally.
All right. Having a little bit of technical difficulties, so if we're cutting in and out, y'all, sorry. It's got to be something's up with my OBS here.
Are you on the Wi-Fi on your phone?
What?
Is your phone on the Wi-Fi?
No. There's something going on. I might have to do something with the. Yeah, there we go.
Is it still
Getting
recording?
Back. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it. So apologies for that if they got any kind of issues going on right now. All right, so that's the NFL for Week 7. Cowboys win?
No.
Cowboys win?
Packers win.
I'm going to say the Cowboys win. I'm say they beat the football team. Who are going to be the football team, apparently, for 2021 as well.
Is that right?
That's what I keep hearing. They said they're not going to have any they're not going to make a name change until 22.
They should just take Wake Forest's logo. WF.
They should just stay. They should just stay the football team.
Washington. Yeah, WF.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. All right, the Longhorns play today. Zach, you excited? You gonna watch?
I'm not gonna watch.
You not?
No.
Are you boycotting?
Yep.
Until when?
I might watch a bowl game.
Okay.
What if they don't get into a bowl game?
Well, then that's easier for me to boycott.
Jesus.
So no Longhorns for Zach until maybe a bowl game.
Right.
Opinion on that?
I mean, that's Zach's opinion. I mean, that's Zach's prerogative. I mean, I think he's entitled to it. I mean,
It's true.
I'm not gonna do that. I can't really boycott football, anyways, just to begin with. But
I'm not.
let's talk about the line, though. That's kind of one thing that I thought was interesting. On Wednesday, it was 8.5, and now it's 10. So a lot of people are putting their money towards the Longhorns for that line to kind of grow by 1.5 in 3 days. Mm-hmm. So
that's just Longhorn fans, though.
Yeah, and that's just the Longhorns in general.
That doesn't mean that people weren't putting buying that line to begin with at 8.5. I mean, a lot of people were buying the line for it to be jumping up like that.
Longhorns they don't cover at home.
I agree they don't cover at home.
It's gonna take a lot for Texas to not be favored in the game, just in general, just historically, that's just Texas football.
Just because Vegas can make a lot of money off of them.
Right, and that's Texas. Cowboys in Texas are always gonna be favored are gonna be oftentimes favored in games, and I think that goes a lot to do with the false hope that it gives people and especially after a loss like that, Texas is one of those teams, kind of like the Cowboys, where you're oh, they're gonna bounce back. Yeah, the big that's a very heavy narrative is the whole bounce back thing, and that's what gets you right there is when you're hoping for a bounce back, and then there's 2 losses in a row.
Steven says if Texas wins, I'll watch later on DVR tonight. So he's gonna record it and
he'll check.
If Texas wins, I'll watch Longhorn. If Texas wins, I'll watch Longhorn Network.
Oh, okay. During the week, you can check it out. Yeah,
they have I know I brought it up last week, I think, or maybe right after the Oklahoma loss. They have Jake Smith listed as a starter in the slot.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So okay. I mean, I heard a little clip and from an interview, and Tom Herman said that they've gotten a chance to get, and they said they got way better. They fixed a lot of things during the bye week.
Did they?
I mean, I think it's a well timed bye. I think it's a well timed bye for them, and maybe they got the chance to smooth things over with some players, but I'm still not.
They were schmoozing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just a whole load of shit, personally. I think this team's soft. I think the Cowboys are soft, and nothing's going to change until we get a tough-nosed, hard-nosed kind of coach in there. Until then, today, I don't think Texas is going to win.
Yeah. So
I definitely don't think they'll cover.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just saying, if you were going to put some money down, you'd put Baylor.
I'd take Baylor plus 10.
If they're going to win, it'd be in freaking overtime.
Yeah.
Granted.
Yeah.
And Baylor's a good team, dude. Charlie Brewer's good.
They're not. I mean, they just haven't been able to play this year.
Yeah.
You don't really know how good Baylor is. So
they only lost by 7 to K-State, and that was at home. And who knows? Oh, that's not right. That's the TCU game. Mm-hmm. My apologies on that one, but I don't know. My biggest thing is I don't know if anybody else is going to show up to play besides Ellinger. Mm-hmm. And that's a really shitty thing for him to kind of have to endure.
Maybe that's why they play all the walk-ons, is because they're the only guys that want to play.
Could be,
possibly.
But I mean, and Charlie Brewer's a good amount of mobile, and that's what Texas struggled with mightily in that Oklahoma game, and even with what's his name, Dugan or whatever at TCU. Like those are mobile quarterbacks, and you're not going to have an unmobile quarterback until what, like
Kansas?
Iowa State maybe, Purdy. And I mean, so if that's the recipe to beating Texas, then everybody's got that ingredient grown in their backyard.
What are you going to do instead of watching the game?
I don't know, probably freaking watch UFC.
Watch out! Oh yeah, UFC. Yeah. Khabib and Gaethje
At 1:00.
Yeah, it's in the United Arab Emirates.
Well, that's not why. I mean, it's been at the United Arab Emirates for like 30 weeks. But apparently they're
30 weeks.
I saw an interview with Dana White, and they was talking about how much their like UK fan base has grown.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that on Wednesday that they're going to try to do their
so they're trying to be prime time for them instead of us.
I mean, you think that's a good idea for UFC, marketing wise?
Well, I think so. Contrary to what Dana White has been saying, I think this is kind of a little bit of a lackluster card.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's been saying that it's like trending above McGregor Cowboy, above Khabib McGregor, like it's trending like super high, and that makes sense because like Khabib is like a superstar, but I think this is a good time to kind of throw across the pond, throw a bone across the pond.
Nice. Okay. Well, we're still having issues on the live videos going in and out, so I'm gonna get this thing fixed, and hopefully we'll get it rolling.
Dude,
right
you could watch the fights. It'll be over by the time you're at work.
I mean, I don't know. It's on ESPN Plus, right?
No, it's the pay-per-view.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like
it's at 1 o'clock and it's pay-per-view?
This is literally like the biggest event that they're holding for the year. Like this has been an event that people have been wanting to watch for like ever for the UFC fans.
So it's not only is it pay-per-view, but it's not only is it at 1 o'clock, but it's also pay-per-view.
Yeah, Dana White's smelling himself too much right now.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah.
Well, I think
during college football.
Way too much.
I think the
same time as like Alabama's playing.
Adesanya Costa fight might have been a little bit of a bigger deal in the States just because of how much they were talking and like how like much media is here in the States. So I think it made sense for that one to be the one that's prime time in the U.S. as opposed to this one, because I mean neither of those guys are talking. Khabib isn't really like that unless it's Conor. So like I said, I think it's a good bone to throw across the pond.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. You gonna watch it?
I mean, we could have talked about this in the next segment, but yeah, I mean, I'm probably not gonna watch it just because I'm gonna watch college football.
Okay. What do you mean next segment?
I don't know. We can't talk about it, I guess.
No, we can talk about it. We were on college football and kind of deviated.
Okay.
We didn't?
All right. So we were talking about Longhorns. Are we gonna go through college football stuff? What do you want to do?
I mean, that's what I thought we were rolling with, but
Longhorns.
I mean, I said Baylor's gonna win.
Okay. What else about college football do you want to talk about, Paul?
Now let's keep moving.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We just talked about the Khabib Gaethje fight. Sorry, I'm distracted because our live feed. I'm trying to fix this video feed because it keeps going in and out. And sorry, y'all, if it keeps messing up.
It was doing that when I was
it?
driving into
Yeah.
I just thought, and it was only when you were talking, so I just thought you were taking a long time to gather your thoughts.
Oh yeah, no.
But sometimes when you're talking on a mic, sometimes that helps though, is to like make sure you gather your thoughts before you talk, so you're not stumbling over yourself. So I was like, wow, that's a veteran radio presence right there.
Thanks, man. Let's see. I guess we can go on to the high school football. And maybe I got too many windows open. Maybe that's my problem.
You know, I am excited for Big Ten football starting.
Are you though?
Yeah, I think I am. I'm not. I haven't been excited
cares.
for these first weeks in sports. I don't think it's going to be necessarily very good.
I don't think Big Ten or Pac-12. I don't think either of them should be allowed to have somebody in the college football playoff. Yeah, it's because they're this week. Week sauce,
and kind of unfair.
Very unfair. So I'm not really. I don't really care about Big Ten or Pac-12. Like, not interested.
So you're not gonna watch Michigan, Minnesota?
No, especially because like game days there. Like, who cares?
It like takes away the allure of the game.
What?
The game day's there?
No, I think they're just trying to push it really hard, on everybody. Well, but it's like, well, okay, well, then you should have started. Then you should have started at the same time as everybody else.
I totally agree with that.
I mean, everybody should have started at the same time. Like, don't try to push it down my throat because
they should have a national champion of the teams that started on time and a national champion of the other teams, and then they can play each other later.
At a later date?
Yeah. Kind of like they did it. You ever watch that show, Blue Mountain State?
Yeah.
You did?
I remember it, but I didn't watch it.
But there was a championship game that didn't get to happen, and it was we'll play y'all anytime, anywhere, and they made a football field and this cornfield and just called both teams to pull up. And that's what they should do. They should have 2 national champions, and then they should Jerry Jones or something or The Rock should get the XFL stadium and be we're gonna have the 2 national champions play. They should do.
Shout out to Snoop Daniel getting on the watch party. It looks like we're getting smoother here. All right. I know Wisconsin played last night. We're talking about Big Ten, but I didn't even know that. See, I didn't even know that they were playing.
Nakia Watson's the feature back for.
I had no idea.
I was watching LBJ land passes. That's what I was watching.
I didn't even. I had no clue that game was going on, and because I have no interest in the Big Ten or the Pac-12, because they were even trying to hype up the Pac-12 on was it Big Noon Saturday on Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they got 2 Pac-12 guys on
the weight. No, they're blah blah blah. It's so what? Everybody else has been playing for months. I don't know.
Tell them, Chris.
It's dumb. It's just dumb. All right. Week 9. Let's see. Thursday game. Let's see. That was a good one. I missed it, but good one. Pflugerville 32, Maynard 31. Did you catch that?
It was overtime. Yeah, that was a pretty good game.
Snoop was there.
Was he?
Yeah. It's kind of been a good thing for Snoop. I was telling him last night. With all these COVID reschedulings.
Yeah.
He's able, because since he's in the studio, I mean, you know how it was in Fanstand whenever he was in the studio, how stir crazy he was that he wasn't getting to go to games.
Yeah.
There's been so many postponements and reschedulings that there's a lot of games not on Fridays now. So
yeah,
he's getting to cover a little more games than he would have on a normal season.
All right. You get to watch it, Paul. What do you think?
I mean, Maynard has a little bit of difficulty getting the ball to receivers, but if it wasn't for Chain Wabuko and his hat trick for touchdowns, they wouldn't have really been able to compete. But I mean, Elijah Oakman, Pflugerville super sophomores. I mean, I just really think that Pflugerville is going to have something really positive to say and may make a push in the playoffs, which they haven't really been doing anything lately. But Maynard just coming up, I want to see a little bit more consistent quarterback play.
So when McClellan gets that position,
I don't know if he's going to play, man.
Why?
I just don't know if he's going to play. They should have. If he should have played Thursday.
Well, I mean, he just got there.
Did he get there in October 1? Because it's the end of October.
No, that's when he. No, I think he just got there. I'm not sure when he got there.
Yeah, I don't know when he got there either.
I mean, the story about him leaving Katy came out October 1. And then you got to go through the whole, transfer, and then you got to get, the other.
You got to get approval.
Coaches in the district to say that you can play, all that other stuff, and it takes a while. There's a whole, there's forms that got to be filled out, and they got to be signed by both coaches. They got to be, signed by the head of the district, all this other stuff. You got to fax it over here, fax it over there. So,
and I think it
might sit on somebody's desk for a little while.
Too much bureaucracy is what you're saying.
Right. There's a lot of red tape.
The other schools have to say something too, right? I think.
Yeah, they have to approve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. All the other coaches, they have to approve that the kid can play. See, also Thursday night, Glenn 21, Conley 14, and Del Valley 42, Aikens 8. I want to save that game. Let's go Friday night, 25-6A, Round Rock 31, Hutto 7, Vandergrift 49, McNeil 0, and Stony Point Westwood's going to be played on Monday, correct? Yep. Yeah. And Vista Ridge 38, Cedar Ridge 24, Vandergrift with the shutout there, Zach Lucero.
Yeah, the defense looked really good. Granted, I don't think McNeil's going to be very good this year. Hutchinson did suit up, and Coach Sanders said that they prepared for him all week. So just in case that he was going to get back in the game, that's the starting quarterback for McNeil. They would have been prepared for it. But I mean, without him, there aren't very many like real weapons for McNeil. So Vandergriff was really just able to stifle everything. And then Ryan back on offense has definitely still getting better every week, and I think we knew what their offensive line was going to be. I think it's a little maybe not as good as we thought it would be, but still a pretty solid offensive line. But their skill players was really where a lot of the question marks were. Mm-hmm. And I think they're really developing and playing and like coming together as a unit really nicely.
Yeah, and when you see them win a game like this, that just kind of shows where they're at.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to do, yeah,
like that,
Yeah. Vista Ridge with a nice bounce back win over Cedar Ridge, 38-24. Especially when you lose the way you do to Vandergrift the week before, to be able to come back and handle a Cedar Ridge team, that says a lot about the character.
And Cedar Ridge have been playing well, especially if like you showed the week before that a good defense is gonna give you some trouble, and Cedar Ridge was playing good defense. So to win like that is definitely something to notch onto your belt, I'd say.
Do you think Hutto is just having issues getting used to the 6A?
I mean, Hutto is
outside of themselves, totally 100%.
Yeah,
Hutto is confusing though, because like they'll beat somebody and you'll be like, okay, like they're making the transition, and then they'll lose to somebody and be like, well, maybe it's too big of a jump for them. So I said on the broadcast last night is they're going to be an interesting team to follow to see. Because not everybody can move classifications and do like Liberty Hill is doing. Like that's not a common thing, especially from 5 to 6. Mm-hmm. From 4 to 5 is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But from 5 to 6 is tough. But I feel like a lot of people still thought, and I think Hutto still thought that they were going to be one of the better teams in the area. And so it would be interesting to see if they're like the opposite of that, if they're one of the worst teams in the district.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Like you can go in from 5 to 6. I mean it's so it's so interesting to see those transitions. From 3 to 4, 4 to 5, but then like 5 to 6 is just like this huge difference. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think comparatively, like Cedar Park would be like a Denton Geyer going to 6A, and which they move up and still compete. Because Cedar Park is like a state, almost national powerhouse at 5A, but from 5 to 6 would be like Georgetown moving up to 6A. And I think if you thought about that, you could see these same kind of struggles with the Georgetown team moving up to 6A.
It's like a league not having a salary cap or having a salary cap and then all of a sudden not having a salary cap, because of the size of the schools and the talent pool available.
Well, I think the talent pool is there. I just think right now they're having a difficulty making the transition to scoring enough points, and I really think it's just based off the quarterback play. I think that's kind of where the deficiency is right now, and I think as soon as they kind of get that up and swinging and kind of online, which probably won't be until next year when Grayson Doggett's a senior, I think that's when Hutto will probably be a little bit more competitive. But right now, I think Zach's right. I think they're going to be at the bottom of the cellar in that 25 6A classification,
and that's got to be difficult for the kids.
Sure.
Like because
especially
they're so used to winning all the time,
and especially you mentioned Grayson Doggett. I mean, last year where they were still 5A, he was like one of the biggest new names. Like he was like the next great Hutto quarterback, and to be going from that to you saying he being one of the main reasons that they're struggling. Like you said, that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough for Landon Watson, who's getting recruited as much, if not more, than some of the guys that he's now playing, and he's not on a winning team. And it's one thing to be the guy getting recruited on a winning team, and that totally changes your mindset when you're the guy getting recruited on a losing team, because you start to see a little bit more eye than the team thing, because you're like, dang, I gotta get mine because they're not going to get it for me anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right, 26 6A, Lake Travis 62, Austin High 20, Hayes 35, St. Marcus 7. Of course, Westlake and Bowie were on a bye. Westlake having issues with that darn COVID 19. Any games you want to highlight in this 26-6A, Paul or Zach?
No, I think this is kind of already well written.
Yeah.
Playoff berths, who's going to be in, who's going to be out.
Yeah, and if I think, Paul, you're smarter than everybody. So if
I would definitely disagree.
If Austin High makes the playoffs, then Lake Travis and Westlake will be in the same classification, right? In the same division.
I would have to look at the enrollment. I don't know who's going to be big or small, but Hayes, I think, is definitely going to be D1. And I think if Lake Travis goes, then those would be the two D1 representatives.
Yeah, I think I heard them say last night that if
because last year it was the same three in the playoffs, and Hayes and Lake Travis were the D1 representatives. That's why
Austin
Westlake
High
went Division 2. I don't think Austin High made it last year. I think it was Bowie.
Right. So I wonder what that does to the breakdown, because they were making it sound like Mark Honig and Bucky Gobbold that it was pretty likely for Lake Travis and Westlake to see each other in the playoffs.
So that means they're both going to go D2?
D1.
If Hayes goes, they can't. They can't both go D1 because Hayes has a higher enrollment than Westlake.
Well, that's what Bucky. Maybe
they just don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't think Hayes will make the playoffs. I don't know.
Well, okay. 11-5A Division 1, Georgetown 37, Hendrickson 33, Cedar Park 82, Anderson 0, and Weiss 63, Leander 34.
Man, this would be. I hate bringing up Hutto. I mean, Chris, you and I used to talk when Hutto was on these runs the last couple of years when they were beating people like that in district and favorited by you and a lot of people. I can tell if you were on my side if you were with Snoop when it came to Hutto. But
I remember I was thinking that Hutto was winning a state championship.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And when they didn't make it there, it was like a disappointing season, especially when you're doing this in district. And I think this is one of those kind of years for Cedar Park. I mean, I think you can compare some of those, like the Chase Griffin Hutto teams to this Cedar Park team, I think.
So you're predicting Cedar Park has a state title type of team, just not going to make it.
No, I know. I'm saying that I think they're a state champion like type team, and I think anything less than that. Because it's going to be right. It's going to be a bummer because they're not like I've said this before. Like they're not going to get tested until multiple rounds deep in the playoffs, and which is kind of a bummer because once they actually get tested, what's that going to look like? Right. It's gonna be tough when they finally play another state ranked team, and if they lose that game, that's going to be so disappointing for those kids in that fan base.
Paul,
I think we need to go ahead and lock up and make the reservations for Dallas. Yeah, because I think Cedar Park's going. I think they're going to win a state championship personally.
Yeah, wow.
And it's just so.
It is a hard road. 100%.
Well, and it's because there's just so many teams that we don't even talk about. Like the same way that we're talking about Cedar Park, I guarantee you there's 3 Mexicans sitting somewhere else in Texas talking about their team.
Probably not.
Maybe,
I don't know about 3 Mexicans,
but there's there's people somewhere else in Texas talking about their team the same exact way that we're talking about Cedar Park.
Yeah, got to be the only, all Latino show, right? Don't you think? Maybe.
Hell yeah! I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Dude, Mexicans love their high school football.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Well, Weiss throwing up 63 on Leander. Shout out to Leander. They went down from 6A to 5A. But
shout out Weiss for playing the game.
They're doing pretty well. But yeah, that was a huge game.
Just for them to play, I think is big.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they got a quarterback over there. God, I forgot his name.
Tavian Cord.
No, the quarterback. Someone wasn't Tavian.
Okay.
Some other guy. I thought it was. I don't know. I was reading about it. Did pretty well. I got a shout out to Hendrickson Hawks as well. They put a fight up against Georgetown Eagles. Georgetown winning, like I said, 37-33. All right, 12-5A Division 1. San Antonio, Harlandale, 32. Lehman, 7. McCollum and Johnson was postponed. Dripping Springs 48, New Braunfels Canyon 21. Oh yeah, Dior Bradfield. Thanks, Snoop. That's the quarterback over at Weiss. And San Antonio Veterans Memorial 14 to Seguin's 47. 13 to 5A Division 2, Eastview 39, Cedar Creek 0, Rouse 35, Elgin 21, and Brenham 47, Bastrop 3. Anything on that? No. All right, 14 5A Division 2, Northeast over Crockett 20 to 14, Liberty Hill over McCallum 42 to 0, Travis 42, Navarro 6, Marble Falls on a bye. You're talking about the state championship run for Cedar Park and how they're not going to get tested. Same thing with Liberty Hill in 14 5A Division 2.
Well,
right?
I think that's a little bit different just because I don't think they have the expectation that Cedar Park has. I mean, they're a perennial state championship contender, but in 4A.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that I'm not saying that they're state title expectations, but they're just not going to get.
They're not going to get tested in district, no. But I think they get tested in playoffs before Cedar Park does, just because, especially with the offense that they run. All you have to do is, if you've like watching the state championship games for as long as I have, like going with my dad, you see those, especially in the smaller schools, those schools with those kind of, not that it's gimmicky, but those like gimmicky type offenses, the option offense, the wing tee, stuff like that. When you're in the state game, it either works or it doesn't. The team either knows how to stop it or they don't. And if they know how to stop it, then it's almost not a competitive game, because they know you're not fooling anybody. And especially when you're Liberty Hill, when you're playing Allen, or not Allen, Alito. Sorry, when you're playing Alito, you don't have the type of athletes, so you got to kind of scheme around them. And if your scheme doesn't work, you're just going to get out athleted by a school like Alito, by Den Ryan, by something like that.
All right.
I think with Liberty Hill, I mean, I don't think their offense, is going to be as big of a hindrance. But what I do think is that I don't know if Liberty Hill is going to go to a state title in Division II for 5A, but I do think that they're going to represent themselves pretty well along the way. But most likely, I just wouldn't be surprised with that type of pedigree that they have, or legacy that they have, because they're used to winning and going to state titles. And granted, this is a big step up, going from 3A when they won state titles to 4A to now into 5A in classification. I think Liberty Hill is going to have an expectation to win, and I think they have an expectation to go to state title. But I think when you're meeting up teams like Alito, because those are who are going to be representing themselves in 5A Division II in the state title game, if they have to meet a team like that, it's going to be a difficult challenge. But who knows? I mean, anything can happen. Any team can lose. But I wouldn't be surprised if Liberty Hill went to the semifinals in 5A Division II and maybe sneaks into a state title.
All right, 13 4A Division.
I could see. Sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead.
I could see Liberty Hill though using this as momentum and turning into like a Cal Allen type team, like a state championship contender that's not going to have the athletes that Alito or Den Ryan has, but still makes runs, having that wing tee, and you just can't stop it,
Yeah. All right. Well, it shall be determined in the playoffs here in a few weeks. 13 4A Division 1, Canyon Lake 20, Fredericksburg 14. That Burnett Taylor game was not played. Taylor forfeited that game?
Yes.
Okay. And Lampasas 36, LBJ 18. Paul Rodriguez.
Yeah, so Zach notified me that he voted for Lampasas to pull out the victory yesterday, so just kind of wanted to put that out there. And I voted for LBJ to win. I made that pick on Wednesday. Now, with that being said, this game was extremely competitive, and I think that for those who watched it and understood, LBJ has a great team. LBJ just has a few deficiencies, and some of those deficiencies were on display early. And Lampasas, who was well coached, took advantage of their defensive line, who was not always being disciplined and getting set as soon as the offensive line got to the ball. So they were able to convert and take that first drive and kind of manhandle LBJ early in the game. But as time went on, of course, the big playmakers did what they needed to do. Latrell McCutcheon, he got his scores. This is one thing I want people to understand about Latrell McCutcheon. He can talk because of how well skilled he is, but he's a winner. He wants to win. There was a play where the Lampasas Badgers were on a breakaway to run into the end zone, and he chases down the Badger at the goal line, and you can contest this, but he literally tackles and strips the runner, and the ball is fumbled forward through the end zone, turning into a touchback, where that was a turnover by LBJ, and McCutcheon was able to give the effort to get the ball back to the LBJ Jaguars. And so I want that to be well understood and well known that young man is a winner in his heart. And, he was doing everything he could to kind of will that team to pull the victory. But late in the fourth quarter, I think the other deficiencies, especially getting the ball to the playmakers, was a little bit of a hindrance for LBJ. I hope that's something that's kind of worked on, and I think it will. And I want to see these guys run it back in the original quarterfinals once we get into the playoffs, because I think that's where they're gonna meet again, is going to be in that quarterfinal matchup.
All right. Zach?
Yeah. So like I said, I've been going to the state championship games with my dad since I was in high school, and we get there on Thursday. So we watch the last 3A and the 4A games as well, and up to 4A, you can win a state championship one of two ways: either have the better athletes than the other team, or be better coach than the other team. That's all you need. You don't need both to win. Once you get to 5 and 6A, you have to have both. But at 4A, you can pick one. And I think that's why we see teams like West Orange Stark be so competitive. I think that's why we see a team like Cuero win a state championship game with one player. And then I think that's why we see some of these schools that we never even heard of and never even talk about win multiple state championship games. And then you look at the record books and their coach has been there for 79 years or something like that.
Right.
And I think Lampasas is on track to be one of those rare teams that even you mentioned in your breakdown is well coached.
Extremely.
Has a Division I quarterback, potentially another Division I guy in Michael Murray.
Yep.
And multiple Division I guys on the offensive line. And they're well coached. And there's not going to be many 4A schools that are going to have that same thing. Even like LBJ, they have multiple guys that are going to get more recruiting looks than the majority of those Lampasas guys. But even you said there were some times that they weren't, that coaching was a little bit apparent.
Yeah, in my opinion, that is the reason why they lost.
Right. And that's not like it's no hating on,
no
on LBJ coaching, right?
No disrespect.
But a lot of times that's what you'll see in a 4A state championship game is a team like LBJ and then a team that's kind of like Lampasas but without the star players. And then it's a battle of who lasts longer. Is it the Division I guys or is it the well coached guys? And like I said, I think Lampasas is going to be one of those rare teams that has a little bit of both and is able to kind of transcend the normal 4A state championship makeup and be pretty dominant.
Last night, LBJ did a great job scheming to shut down Murray and Jax, their running back, and also to kind of contain Ace Whitehead. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to my players of the game were Trey Sims, the outstanding defender who can get off blocks, who can make tackles. But the guy who really won the game, in my opinion, for Lampasas was their running back number 21, Ethan Moreno, who the guy was the X factor because everybody else was getting shut down. I mean, you had your guys who made your plays, but to me, those were the two young men who really were, outstanding, who played that well. And I want to see that game again. And I know LBJ will probably not jump into the rankings, but I'm going to tell you right now, all those teams outside of La Vega and outside of Lampasas, they don't want any kind of business with LBJ because they are a very well-skilled team, and the defensive speed overall is really what I think made this game as close as it was for as long as it was. But in the fourth quarter is when LBJ's coaching and discipline kind of took over. Lampasas' coaching and skill kind of took over to pull away by 18.
And it's hard to beat a good team twice. So if when they play each other in the playoffs, it wouldn't be surprising to see this game go the other way. I know we talked about We need to read that dude's comments because he's saying that you don't read them. But I know it's just like 18 gifts of dolphins, but you need to read them.
It's emo. No. He was giving me some advice on the thing.
We were talking about Liberty Hill. The final four, and I can even go to final 8 in 5A Division II last year. Wichita Falls, Ryder, Lubbock Cooper, Aledo, Ennis, Fort Bend Marshall, Manville, Cal Allen, and Bernie Champion. And I'll tell you right now that, I mean, we see that. Let me pull up the final score of that Cal Allen game because I don't think it was. Yeah, and Bernie Champion beat Cal Allen, and I think that goes to show like it's tough to be competitive with that wing tee at that level, especially with all the new schools that are popping up, moving teams down in classification to 5A D2. Because I mean, like a team like Manville, a team like Aledo, like Fort Bend Marshall, like that. Those are some good teams.
Yeah, and they'll be able to stop something like that. Yeah,
I mean, or maybe not. Or maybe not.
I don't know. It depends on the coaching.
Right.
I think it also depends on how do you want to? Is it if it's in? I think the other thing too. I think we kind of forget, and I think this kind of played into last night's game with LBJ was it got cold, and I think that's something that factored into the coaching is like if you're not well coached to play in all elements, it's going to affect you. And we see that in the NFL. I think we saw that with Green Bay and Tampa Bay last week. I think the humidity affected Green Bay a little bit. And so, if we get to a state championship, it's going to play in neutral conditions. Mm-hmm. But if you take a team like, Cal Allen or Liberty Hill and they got to play in inclement weather, that's going to favor them because they're heavy run teams. And so it kind of just depends, something to take into consideration whenever you're trying to kind of really scheme for those games. But if you're playing in neutral weather and, you're running a heavy run team, if you get behind 2 scores, good luck.
Or if you're like a team like Cedar Park that's having a lot of success throwing the ball with Ryder Hernandez and you're a team like Lubbock Cooper, you almost say, hey, I'll flip you for home and home. Mm-hmm. And as opposed to picking a green on a neutral side, because if you win that coin toss and all of a sudden you have to drive all the way to Lubbock and play in the snow or something, then that's a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Recon Athlete, episode 119, Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto. Steven Anguiano says there's plenty of shows down in RGV, and Emo's telling me there's like 20. So we're just talking about, the makeup of our show here.
I'm telling y'all, Mexicans love high school.
But apparently, there's a lot of others. So, but we're the best one. That's for sure. All right. World Series. You guys watching it at all?
Nope.
I watched a little bit of game 1 up until we got the free taco. Then I turned it off.
You got the steal, so he's like, all right, I'm good.
Oh yeah. How does that work? You get a taco?
The 28th. The 28th, you just go get a free Doritos Loco. Mookie Betts.
You just roll through Taco Bell and just say like, hey, I'm here for that free taco.
It's gotta be annoying.
It's gotta be weird.
It's gotta be so annoying.
It's gonna be annoying as an employee.
Hey, there's a do you eat Taco Bell, Paul?
Hell yeah. Look at me.
What's your
I eat everything, baby.
Dude, but Taco Bell is one of those places kind of like McDonald's where people are like,
what I like about Taco Bell is when I got to go there whenever I've eaten all kind of fast food because I need something to like throw off my palate. So I need a little bit of that carne to kind of like, which is probably like 10% meat. Mm-hmm. I just need some of that to kind of like throw off and like reboot my palate. That's when I get Taco Bell.
Yeah, so like Taco Bell and McDonald's, some people will be like, oh yeah, I love fast food. And I'm like, oh, you eat McDonald's? Like, oh, dude, I don't eat McDonald's.
I only eat McDonald's.
I don't eat Taco Bell.
I only eat McDonald's breakfast and I don't eat Taco Bell.
They kind of have like a bad like connotation with those two places. Yeah. But
I got Cabana right down the road. So
I had a shredded chicken quesadilla melt. You ever had that at Taco Bell?
I do the steak, but no, I do the steak.
It's only right. So I normally do the chicken quesadilla.
Hashtag no ads.
But it's $1 shredded chicken quesadilla melt. It's $1.
If I talk about food, I don't give a shit.
you gotta try it. It's like on the dollar menu thing. It's like a little folded up. It's not very big.
Shit. Now I'm gonna get locked in. We talk about food, baby.
Yeah, it's called shredded chicken quesadilla melt. I like just tried it yesterday.
What comes in it? Is there any kind of like pico or anything?
No, it's literally like a dollar menu item. So it's very, very simple. But Sam Pica, he produces a bunch of the stuff at the Horn. I was eating it in my hand. He goes, "Oh, is that shredded chicken quesadilla melt?" And I was like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He goes, "Dude, I love that. That's all I get." He said, "I'll go to Taco Bell. I'll get a large Baja Blast for a couple bucks, and then like 3 shredded chicken quesadilla melts, and I spent $4 on my food."
Sounds like a vitamin friendly meal right there.
Yeah, Chris, you should write that down.
Should write that down.
No.
He does have Taco Rito right here. And then he's got TC
I
down
got
the
TC
field.
down the road here.
Yeah, but that's like $3 for a taco. You get 8 shredded chicken quesadilla melts for that price.
That's true. Yeah, dude.
but-
It's $7 for a Topo Chico and 2 tacos at Taco Rito.
Yeah, but it's good.
That's 7 quesadilla melts,
Yeah, bro.
dude.
But if you balling on a budget,
you go
you gotta
TC
make sure you got
but
what
if
you
you go
get.
down,
Not everybody makes
gotta-
the big bucks like you.
dude, I
Chris.
don't make the big bucks anymore. I quit that job.
Shit.
The TC down the road, you can get 6 breakfast tacos for $6.
What kind of?
It's 2 bacon and egg, 2 potato and egg, and 2
okay.
chorizo and egg.
Man, I made chorizo and egg Thursday morning, bro.
Yeah.
Chorizo and egg tacos.
Yeah, but it's a 6-pack. They call it a 6-pack.
I could do like 6 bean and cheese. Man, I'm gonna have to roll through TC when I get out here. I'm gonna get some bean and
They
cheese.
still got the salmon at Revelry
Yeah, they got the grilled salmon.
Yo, what's up
until
with
when?
that,
A couple like what did
I think maybe
homeboy
next
say?
week.
Like next week.
I think maybe, but they might keep that on. They might. I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe it'll be like a secret thing that like only I can order.
Dude, like the
Only
soft
me and
shell,
Chef can order.
the soft shell crab BLT. I'm
Bro.
gonna be real sad when that goes.
Bro.
That thing's really good.
Is it?
It's still on.
I saw that.
But it's on the same little thing that's
It
leaving.
looked delicious.
It's good.
But it's on the list of stuff that's leaving, right?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping.
Y'all have a list of stuff that's leaving?
Well,
Well,
they had like a summer menu.
Yeah,
Oh,
summer.
okay,
So that's on that was the grilled salmon, soft shell crab BLT, fried
Mac and
green
cheese.
tomatoes,
With mac and cheese on there too.
Yeah, we got rid of the mac and cheese for some reason. Recon Food Channel. Your dad says.
Oh yeah, hey dad. He's at the coast for my mom's birthday.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, shout out my mom.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
Are you watching the house?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why that's where I'm having the fight
Home Alone.
at the house. Yeah.
Oh, you threw it on the folks DVR?
No, I
Notice
Ben-
how he
Ben
didn't.
Bodum?
Notice how he didn't invite us.
I haven't invited y'all anywhere either.
That's true.
So my dad, my parents recently did some cable cutting, so we don't have. Remember, I talked about it actually.
Yeah,
we don't
you
have
did.
AT&T Uverse anymore, because
Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know.
it's tough for real,
Yeah,
and especially
I'm trying not to like ruin anything for the future, but I was just like, I'm not a fan.
especially when you're like my dad, who's just not knowledgeable on the next step, and it's no like. Because like, why would he be? But all he's reading everywhere that it's more like financially reasonable to cable cut. So but he just didn't know what the next step was. So he was like, okay, how am I going to watch sports? Oh, I'll just buy ESPN Plus because that's ESPN. But that's not.
It's not.
That's not. ESPN Plus, all you get is what's on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
You still have to have a TV subscription.
Hashtag no ads.
You still have to have a TV subscription to watch anything on ESPN. There's nothing you can subscribe to to get ESPN
Besides ESPN.
Besides cable.
Cable.
besides cable. Yeah, like there's no like ESPN. I got the plus, and I can't get the regular. No, like it's only the plus. So, so they're like on their 3rd email address of free trial for YouTube TV right now, but. So that's and then my dad prepaid for ESPN Plus for the year, thinking that's what he needed, and then a weekend realizes that's not what he needed. So we're just kind of riding it out for the rest of the year. So that's what I used to buy the fights. Is he has his ESPN Plus subscription, so I might as well get some use out of it.
Yeah.
I cut the cord. It's been 10 years for me. I cut the cord back in 2010. So I did a long time ago.
And what do you use?
So I cut the cord, but then like they got me back a couple years ago. Spectrum did by doing the Spectrum app.
Right.
So then I get my internet connection, which I might have to tweak here in a little bit. I think I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, my parents just had to up their internet because now they're just streaming, so they had to.
You could be just getting throttled too.
I think that's what it is. But anyway, so I got internet service and I have the Spectrum app, which gives me lots of channels on Roku, for I think it's like $65 a month. So it's not
Right,
not really that bad.
And that's what
but then
YouTube TV is.
Then you add in Netflix, you add in Hulu. So I'm it's probably spending like $80, $90, probably close to $100
Yeah, I don't want to tell you what I'm spending
a month on that, which I don't know. But I keep that Spectrum app because obviously we're a sports centric show, and that's where I get, I can watch ESPN, and you can kind of put together your your channels a little bit if you want to.
Do you have Longhorn Network?
I got Longhorn Network. I got TNT, TBS.
So my dad likes
the baseball. They got, you get all the regular channels and stuff. You get Comedy Central. You get like the basic channels from 1 to 100 basic. Probably about 100 channels, I guess.
Yeah,
and you only really watch like 10 though.
Right, and that's what it's hard to find, like just looking at the streaming services, other than Spectrum app, I guess, that has all of the networks, because normally they don't have CBS, because CBS has their own streaming service. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't have CBS, but that does have CBS and also has Longhorn Network. Because Sling has Longhorn Network but doesn't have CBS. YouTube TV has CBS but doesn't have Longhorn Network.
You've been doing a lot of research on this, huh?
I am, because my parents don't know.
That's the frugalness of Zach Lucero. He's trying to find that deal.
My parents are stuck watching the Oprah Winfrey really Network because that's the only channel they get. It's hard. It's
built. The system has been built for you to either pay for everything you want, like I do, or you're going to go on a more slim product like Chris.
Yeah,
that's all there is. They built it that way on purpose. Mm-hmm. Or you go off the grid and you get a VPN, and then you maybe
right, like
have some
jailbreak and do all stuff like that. Yeah, but regular,
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Regular people like my parents don't know how to do anything like that. So I have to find them and say like, this is what you need to get, and they'll get it. But I'm having a hard time like finding what to get. So maybe Spectrum is going to be the way to go, I guess. I guarantee you're gonna get a Facebook message from my dad as soon as this is over, asking about it.
Look into it. It's definitely something to look into, because I think the cable companies, especially Spectrum,
do you have MTV?
They realized, yeah,
okay,
I think so. I don't watch it, but I think I do. I think a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, they realized that the cable cutting was going on, and everybody was going through these apps, and so I got the Roku. Mm. You can get the app on there. And you can get
my parents have a Fire Stick, so
yeah, there you go.
There you go. And if you call them, especially if they've cut, if you've gone away from the company, they're doing what they can to keep your business.
Right.
And basically, what I told them was like, hey, it's just too expensive for me. I just don't want to pay that much, you know. And so well, hey, we can give you this, with the app, blah blah blah, for this much. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm willing to do that. Mm-hmm. Same way with like SiriusXM, whenever my 6 month, every year my thing, I call them and I cancel, and then they're like, well, because I'm not going to try to pay $28 a month for, then they will be like, oh, well, don't cancel. We'll give it to you for, less than half that price.
That's what I do with Spectrum. Like
my dad
as
has
soon as football
too.
Season's over, I just stop. I'm like, hey, I'm canceling my TV, and then I'll just have internet. And then when football season comes back, I don't turn in the equipment. I just say, hey, can you turn my TV back on? And so, I don't want to pay what I'm paying for 12 months. I only pay for 6.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough about our TV and our food. Let's go watch some football. Anything else? Say?
No. Well, hey, Dad. Happy birthday, Mom.
Anything else? Other topics?
Nope.
No. Cowboys win? Yes.
No.
Packers win. Longhorns win?
No.
Don't want to know.
I'm saying
if
yes.
he watches it, then they did win.
I'm saying yes. All right. Make sure you check us out. Episode 120 is going to be on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. Maybe I'll check out Taco Bell. I haven't eaten Taco Bell in years.
Shredded.
How long?
Shredded chicken.
Literally years.
10?
No, I mean,
okay.
Not like 10, but it's been I can't remember the last time I ate a Taco Bell. Yeah. Can't really.
Next time you're just wandering the streets of the Domain, just put on your phone how long to walk to Taco Bell and just get the pennies out of your pocket.
They don't allow Mercedes-Benz through
the
Taco
pennies
Bell.
in the whenever you're wandering the Domain, forgot where you valeted your Mercedes, having to walk home.
Bewildered.
Nah, bro, it's not like that though. It's not like that. Not like that at all. All right, shout out to Zach. Oh yeah, you already shouted out.
Yeah, shout out to everything.
Shout out.
Shout out Mom. Shout out y'all. Shout out us. Shout out Snoop. Shout out Flex. Let's get some money.
Word up. All right, I want to shout out God, my parents, and of course Christ Market, Texas Point Outdoors, Focus Fit San Marcos.
Ooh, I have a surprise on Wednesday for y'all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And shout out to everybody that's on our watch parties and joining us, on air. Steven Aguiano, Zach's dad, Sayside, Snoop, Emo, BJ, Kalunga.
Yeah.
Everybody that's usually Wes, but he probably went out last night, so he's probably still sleeping.
Oh, mira.
Shout out to Wes. You got to get up and eat some menudo. All right, we'll see y'all on Wednesday. Paul, do you think?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the podcast, like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell. We'll let you know we upload. We out.